Time collapsed into a frantic rhythm, turning our days into violent, fleeting flashes. The oceans migrated towards the equator, building an eternal wall of crushing dark water.
Polar waters retreated entirely, revealing barren abysses and massive vessels stranded on dry Earth.
The sky separated into violent horizontal bands, racing across the heavens like Jupiter's storms.
As the planet flattened, the crust ripped apart horizontally, exposing glowing tectonic veins. Friction became our enemy, as heavy vehicles were shoved sideways by relentless atmospheric shear. We watched the sun dart across the horizon, casting terrifying shadows that moved like scythes. Entire equatorial metropolises vanished beneath the permanent high tide, erased by the shifting seas. Structures did not float, they snapped under the lateral stress of the widening planet. Neighborhoods flash froze and boiled within hours as the rapid thermal cyclone destroyed everything. Massive tornadoes formed instantly, crawling horizontally across the plains with unmatched destructive speed. Deep marine canyons lay exposed to the rapid sun, hissing steam into the chaotic atmosphere.
Northern forests turned to petrified husks, starved of water by the great equatorial migration.
Skyscrapers bowed toward the equator, their concrete skeletons groaning under the new planetary physics. Survivors huddled in the strobe light dawn, hiding from the lethal horizontal winds of morning. A relentless global current tore through the continents, widening canals into violent, roaring straits.
The moon raced through its phases, dragging chaotic microtides across the remaining shallow lakes.
Magnetic fields fractured, painting the fast-spinning night sky with chaotic, unnatural neon auroras. The horizon became a permanent blur, reshaped into endless streaks by the furious planetary rotation. The equator stole the topsoil, turning our massive farms into horizontal dust storms. The 6-hour night flash froze our industries, shattering heavy steel with brutal thermal contraction. Island resorts vanished entirely, swallowed by the permanent high tide of the bulging equator. The expanding middle of our world tore open, exposing violent tectonic vents to the sky. Desert dunes marched sideways at impossible speeds, swallowing forgotten highways in mere hours. Bridges swayed in harmonic terror, amplified by the unrelenting superwinds of the new equator. Magnetic fields fractured violently, sending navigational instruments into a chaotic, spinning frenzy of sparks. Volcanic ash did not rise. It was violently sheared sideways by the roaring atmosphere. Ancient stone observatories fractured as the ground beneath them bulged toward the fast-spinning sky. Rivers flowed backwards, abandoning massive dams as the waters migrated relentlessly toward the middle. Tropical jungles froze solid in hours, trapped in the drastically shortened, hyper-cold night cycle. Coastal settlements endured permanent hurricanes, locked forever on the new, violent equatorial storm line. The deep trenches boiled dry, revealing ancient, motionless silhouettes hidden beneath the vanished oceans. Massive solar farms were twisted and destroyed by the sheer lateral force of the wind.
Heavy freight trains derailed entirely, pushed completely sideways by the immense lateral wind pressure.
Suburban blocks were swallowed whole as the Earth's crust stretched and thinned dramatically.
Dried seabeds became blinding salt flats, scoured endlessly by hyperfast, suffocating dry winds.
Communication towers collapsed like dominoes, unable to withstand the constant, unidirectional atmospheric punishment. Global migratory routes vanished as vast flocks were pushed sideways into the jagged mountains. The bedrock itself shook continuously, protesting as the core spun violently out of sync. The atmosphere thinned rapidly at the poles, leaving our northern cities choking for air. Unnatural auroras crashed down to the surface, bringing blinding solar radiation into the daylight. The polar ice did not melt. It sublimated instantly into the thin, frozen vacuum. We built fortresses from derailed iron. Forest fires no longer climbed. They raced strictly horizontally, driven by the unidirectional hurricanes.
The outside pressure dropped so severely that our airtight doors threatened to violently implode.
Skyscrapers were stripped of their glass faces, leaving bare steel skeletons howling in the wind.
The world was scoured perfectly flat. Nothing tall could survive the immense centrifugal shear.
Underground water tails ripped through the rock, dragged aggressively toward the expanding equator. Turbines spun themselves to death, launching colossal blades like shrapnel across the desolate plains. The warped magnetic field swallowed all radio frequencies, leaving every underground bunker totally isolated. Empty riverbeds became massive wind tunnels, funneling the hyperfast currents into invisible destructive lasers. Ghost towns were literally sandblasted out of existence by the harsh, ultra-dry ocean bed winds. Standing up became a death sentence. We were forced to crawl beneath the immense pressure.
The Earth's crust thinned rapidly, forcing unpredictable geothermal vents to erupt through our city parks.
Natural flight became physically impossible in the chaotic, hyper-dense atmospheric layers created by the spin.
Heavy aircraft were permanently pushed sideways, turning vast airports into twisted piles of scrap metal.
The spinning planet created a continuous, violent acoustic resonance that threatened to shatter our minds. Underground systems suffered explosive blowouts as the extreme atmospheric pressure violently sought to equalize. Tidal friction caused our expanding equator to glow red with raw, unrelenting, intense heat. Entire mountain ranges were filed down by hyper-hurricanes carrying diamond-hard, abrasive rock dust.
Friction from the hyper-accelerated rotation ignited the upper atmosphere, burning the sky completely.
Global superstorms merged into one single, planet-wide horizontal cyclone that scoured everything to bedrock.
Our last citadels were flattened into dust by the gravity-defying, relentless centrifugal winds.
The equatorial ocean remnants vaporized entirely, creating a permanent, suffocating planetary steam rain.
Deep fault lines glowed with raw magma as the Earth physically tore continents apart. Sonic booms visually rippled through the compressed equatorial air, shattering the very bedrock beneath. Relentless friction from the unidirectional superwinds caused the exposed bedrock to glow threateningly.
The planet's rotation fell out of sync with its atmosphere, creating continent-sized friction fires.
Magnetic poles flipped completely every few hours, unleashing lethal waves of harsh cosmic radiation.
The crust thinned so drastically that raw, bubbling a mantle was exposed to the vacuum.
Centrifugal force reached its peak, making the equator an uninhabitable, gravity-sheared death zone. Our last underground sanctuaries collapsed inward as the structural integrity of the planet failed. Hyper-accelerated erosion reduced the last city ruins into a perfectly smooth, polished obsidian plain. The polar atmosphere escaped completely into space, leaving a dead, silent, absolute vacuum. A global, continuous ring of lightning formed at the equator from permanent atmospheric friction. The final leveling left a perfectly smooth, fast-spinning, barren rock, stripped of all history.